What's up, War Room? Happy day before Thanksgiving. Joe and Connor here, ready to answer as many questions as we can in approximately 30 minutes. CR, how we feeling?
Good. This is I know we have one that is just so insane today that I'm actually really like chomping at the bit to get to here.
I'm going to dive right into this bridge quarterback
Yep.
question. So this is from Jet Fan Smack. Rank the following stopgap options: Kyle Allen, Tyson Bagent, Teddy Bridgewater, Jacoby Brissett, Jake Browning, Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton, Josh Dobbs, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Jimmy Garoppolo, Sam Howell, Snoop Huntley, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Drew Lock, Marcus Mariota, Tanner McKee, Davis Mills, Joe Milton, Nick Mullins, Kyler Murray, Aiden O'Connell, Kenny Pickett, Spencer Rattler, Aaron Rodgers. Come on, man. Mason Rudolph, Cooper Rush, Geno Smith, Jarrett Stidham, Tyrod Taylor, Mitch Trubisky, Malik Willis, Russell Wilson, Zach Wilson, and Jameis Winston. I mean, you read a question like this and you're like, how are we still doing this? But we are.
We are.
It's a fair question. Of those names, and we were batting some around in our group chat, what are the three that get you the most excited? And what are the three that you're like, absolutely not, never in a million years?
The problem is the guys that I like are all under contract next year. I guess in theory you could trade for them, but the problem is the guys I like are Jameis, Mac Jones, and there was one more on there. Oh, Tanner McKee.
Yep.
Because Brock Purdy gets hurt. The
Yep.
Niners need Mac Jones. Jackson Dart gets hurt. The Giants need Jameis Winston. And Tanner McKee's more of the mystery box. Let's be real here. Like, I want to...
We have no idea what we're getting.
We really have no idea, as great as he's looked every summer. It does feel like at some point the Eagles have to make a decision, right? He was a 6th-round pick in 2023. So, technically... Yeah, I mean, technically, like you would think that unless they are just completely content with him riding out all his time there as a backup, but the Eagles' whole mantra is asset building and retaining and rolling it over. So McKee has 1 year left on his deal after this year. So they're either going to get an asset back for him now or they let him walk. And like, by the way they operate, they typically get an asset back here and then use it somewhere else. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is with those guys is it's a little bit of everything, right? With Mac, you know he can come in and it's not spectacular, but he can run the offense like a point guard and get the ball to the playmakers and give you a shot to win. Like, you can win with him. With Jameis, way more variance. Obviously, he could just throw any game away, but... Number one, it does feel like at times, and I watch all of the pregame huddles because we show them on pregame. This team could use like an energy guy, and I know it's really cliche, but I think Jameis's energy would actually play really well with what this team needs right now, and they'd probably win some games that they had no business winning with him. Where once again, he could lose you any game, but at least there's no limitations. If you put Jameis in the offense, like you're going to throw the ball down the field to your playmakers. If you're down a lot of points, you can go to a pass-heavy script, and you're not really worried about like so. And then with McKee, it's the mystery box. Is he? What if he ends up being a good starter? What if he ends up being unplayable? Which I don't think he'll be unplayable. I think we've actually seen enough development with him that like there's some kind of floor. The three I have zero interest in, and there was a lot of names there. I'm probably forgetting some. Russell Wilson is right at the top.
No way.
I'm assuming Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers weren't serious names on the list, so they don't even count. There was a couple more in there I don't want to forget.
Kirk Cousins. No.
Yeah, no. Guys that are washed up. I mean,
I don't know if Nick Mullins is going to do it at this point.
Him and Dobbs are not good. With Malik Willis, he's saved his career in Green Bay, but we kind of saw what the run-first quarterback experiment, how it went here, and I don't know if he's developed enough to go beyond that yet. So, yeah, I mean, those would be my three guys, and I don't think Jameis will be made available unless Jameis's team is very like, hey, we want to find him a starting job. Can you do us the favor? We'll work together on a trade, and the Giants are open to it. But I think they signed him for 2 years for a reason. Like Dart, is a maniac. And Dart, if you had to run a simulation a million times, it'd probably tell you he's going to miss 3 games next year. And those 3 games could be Joe Shane's ass on the line. So I don't think the Giants will trade Jameis. The Niners, Shanahan is so good with quarterbacks off the scrap heap that if somebody called and offered them a third for Mac Jones, they actually might take it because Shanahan will just go find the next Mac Jones. They had Sam Darnold there. And if you listen to Darnold, it sounds like that year did more for him than anything in his life. So that might, I'd put a non-zero on that. And then once again, McKee, I actually would think like the Eagles have to make it. There's a lot going on with Jalen Hurts there, but it's not nuclear yet where, you know, obviously you would think the Eagles are always open to collecting an asset on a player that's 1 year away from walking away for nothing.
Yeah, it's not.
What about you? Like, is there someone I missed? Not really,
no,
right?
No, I mean, the most intriguing names are the ones we haven't seen a ton of yet. But like you said, I don't know why these teams are in a rush to give them away. Like, I like Bajan's an interesting name, but the Bears just paid him for a reason. Why are they going to get rid of him? Are they going to risk it if Caleb gets hurt or he starts going off the rails again? I think they want to have quarterback depth. It's not an exciting name, but I think the Jets are going to probably get stuck if they go this route with like a Jacoby Brissett type. Like it's
also under contract.
So it's going to be another thing where maybe the Cardinals are just totally starting over and it's a whole new staff and they're just going to flush everything out. But
it brings us to Kyler.
Yeah, right? And like I'm only doing Kyler if it's the Brock Osweiler model.
Exactly.
Where you're getting collateral back. And even I just don't Kyler playing quarterback here. My head already hurts like talking about it and thinking about it. I don't know, man. It's not bridge quarterbacks are not easy. You got to get creative. And none of these guys, like teams hold on to quarterbacks who they think could play a little bit. And, how much are you going to pay to have Jacoby Brissett maybe be your quarterback for a year? I don't know. Even guys like, I don't know, Spencer Rattler, like, all right, like what is he better than what we're getting from Tyrod this year?
No.
I don't know. Maybe he could stay healthier, but that's kind of the level of what you're looking at here.
Right. And you are not a regime that's in position to take on a reclamation project as your savior because one, reclamation projects, as we just saw with Fields, really fail more often than not. For every Baker Mayfield, there's 10 fails, right? And Sam Darnold, there's 10 fails. And like if you're the Jets, you're not betting it on trying to remake Anthony Richardson or say things go nuclear in Minnesota, JJ McCarthy, who cannot play right now.
He's on the Zach trajectory.
He's on the Zach Wilson trajectory. It would not get better here.
Yeah.
So that's where the creativity is going to be really fascinating. The problem is I don't really believe creativity exists on the pro market for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And
we're going to be stuck with Mitch Trubisky, aren't we? It's something like it's inevitable.
No, God. Trevor and I tried to do the Kyler trade on our Fixing the Cardinals, and it's a lot more complex than people are letting it on to be because one, he has a big contract. Two, and everybody does the low-hanging fruit, Jets. So the Jets are paying almost $60 million next year for Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields not to play for them. And then they're going to take on all the Kyler Murray's money. So
they better be giving us a first for all that trouble.
Right. You're doing it to asset gather. And Arizona, I think right now they think they're getting something in return for Kyler. I think that's delusional unless there's a really dumb franchise out there. Better not be the Jets. I think that Kyler gets hurt a lot, and then you run the risk of owing him money in 2027 if he gets hurt. And I don't think he's been good enough that he's worth the risk. So, the two things can be true at once. Does Kyler make the Jets better next year than what they have? Yes, a lot of players do. Is Kyler Murray going to be a needle mover or more likely kind of an anchor that you get stuck in mediocrity? It's probably mediocrity. So I'm not very interested in that option.
It's a grim conversation, unfortunately.
It is just horrible. Like this is just
that entire list of names. There's no one you're like, oh, that's the one.
Why this is relevant is whether it's maybe not Mendoza, because for the things I bring up in his flaws, he is smart. He's a good processor. He's pretty accurate. Like he could probably start next year. It's just a matter of what the ceiling will be. But if Moore or Simpson declare, and that's who you take, Those guys need the same plan the Giants had with Dart, and Dart just exceeded expectations that he was able to play earlier than they thought. But Dart also started for 3 years in college. Simpson and Moore have not.
Yeah.
You really need to get a guy that you're like, he's starting until we get a reason from our rookie not to. I'm serious. Like, there's no world where if you drafted Dante Moore or Ty Simpson with the 5th overall pick that I'd want to see them before November. I'm serious.
Yeah, I mean, we have to try something different if you're going to take a quarterback with that pedigree, and they're going to need a veteran quarterback no matter what. And even if Tyrod plays well down the stretch, I just worry about the durability always. I know he's a good mentor. I know he's reliable, but the durability is always concerning. All right,
it's a fair concern.
We got one from Alonda about Tanner talking about A.D. Mitchell's separation and what receiver prospects in particular have that trait that you think the Jets may gravitate to, where basically their ability to separate is their like special sauce, and who are those guys you think they could lean to in the draft if that's a priority for Engstrand and the offensive staff?
Jordan Tyson, who I think is the most talented wide receiver in the draft from Arizona State. He has a lot of Garrett Wilson kind of qualities, honestly. Mekhi Lemon is smaller, but he is so good in the short area and his pound for pound strength that he constantly gets open for that USC offense. He's amazing at getting open. You can kind of see a world where he's this like more compact JSN style of a player, maybe with a little less juice. I think JSN has more juice, but Carnell Tate's bigger. And I know Sims said on our college show and stuff that like when he was out at Ohio State, I forget who they were comparing him to, but they were comparing him to one of the bigger receivers in the NFL. And for Tate is a big, like win the ball kind of receiver, but I've actually been really impressed with his route running and his footwork. So he has enough separation skills, Carnell Tate, that's like, he's 6'3" and he can win the jump ball, but he can get open as well. So it's a good call out. They obviously value that a lot, but the Jets are, let's not forget, in a spot where like Garrett's going to get open. Mechie's going to get open. Adonai, for his flaws, is a really smooth mover for his size. It feels like they kind of need that power forward.
They needed it since Brandon Marshall. We needed it so
that's why I'm obsessed with Carnell Tate for this team, and it's probably gone too far where like if they get Carnell Tate, it means they didn't get a quarterback with their first pick. But he's the perfect player for this offense.
All right, from Shart City, what a name. I know we harp on quarterback and receiver and the offense in general looking into 26 and 27, but how much should we be talking about just adding great players and building a well-rounded team?
That's what we do.
This defense desperately needs high-end playmakers, a top-end edge to supplement JJ and Will, and a ball hawk in the secondary would be huge to turning this team around. I'll also flag there was a mock draft circulating today with the Jets taking my good friend Caleb Downs.
Nice.
Who runs the Great Downs to Business podcast. It's a fair question, and the Jets do need defensive playmakers. I am not sure I'm mentally there on the Jets taking a safety in the top 10 or even an edge rusher in the top 10. I'm closer on an edge rusher. If they don't go quarterback and receiver, I mean, let's say the Jets pick 6th or 7th. Like, what is your mindset on taking a guy like Downs and then being like, look, like we don't force turnovers, and this is the best safety prospect we've seen in 6-7 years? You tell me.
Yeah.
How serious of a consideration is that going to be?
So this is tricky because for me, like a draft guy and an evaluator, I can't, in good faith, get on this podcast and be like, you can't take a safety, or you can't, like, that's, if a player warrants the selection in the draft compared to what other assets are out there, then the player can be the pick. And Downs is pretty special. I'll throw one more name that fits this equation, Arvell Reese from Ohio State, because
everything's Ohio State, man. Every player's Ohio State.
They're the best team in the country. You're right, though. It's funny when we do that. The thing is with Arvell Reese is he's big, he plays off the ball, and he's also an awesome pass rusher. So, like, if they're going to go the defensive player route, he feels like the guy that disrupts the most for their scheme, because I don't like the Jets off-ball linebacker plan for next year. And he's big. And Detroit style, they want big linebackers. They want big defensive linemen. Reuben Bain gives you that big power rusher. kind of, like what Carl Lawson was at his peak. So Bane's interesting. Downs is such a good player that I'm never going to rule it out, but it does feel tough to use that pick on a safety when the team has so many problems. But yeah, if the Jets are taking a defender in the top 5 or 6, Arbel Reese is the guy. Like there's a world where he becomes this 10-sack player, and then he's also giving you early down reps off the ball.
Oof.
And you're like, oh my God, this guy is one of the most lethal front 7 players in the NFL. So yeah, Arbel would be like, say none of the quarterbacks declare. Mendoza goes 1, no other quarterbacks in the draft. And the Jets are like, we kind of like the depth of receiver. Let's just take Arbel Reese because, like, laugh all you want. We think he could be our, like odd version of Micah Parsons or whatever they want to call it. And then everybody won't be laughing in 3 years when you have a player like that.
Listen, it's all right. I'm calling my shot now that the Colts are going to miss the playoffs, and that second first-round pick is going to be 17 or 18. Go Jags, go Texans, go catch them. And then we'll be picking at, 5 and 18, and you have options. You figure it out.
You just draft out of Ohio State. You take Arbel Reese, you get Carnell Tate.
Set.
Austin Serafeld's their tackle who's going to play guard. You take him on day 2. Like, it's...
I mean, at the rate they're going, they might be able to trade for C.J. Stroud as their veteran quarterback. Davis Mills keeps playing. That's one to talk about.
What's going to be interesting is there going to be... And I'm not advocating or pushing against either of these. I have no take on any of these at the moment. I want to be clear. But is some quarterback situation that we don't see right now going to go nuclear? And
yes,
with all the picks the Jets have, are they going to be, 1, the team to do it, and 2, we know this part, they're going to be connected to them?